Hello, this is Rodolfo Vargas, and today we're going to be learning the hustle presentation. The easiest and the fastest presentation right now in the market is the hustle presentation. We call it hustle because it actually takes 5 to 10 minutes to explain to somebody the product, 5 to 10 minutes to explain how we get paid, how we recruit the agents. So it's very simple. Today we're going to be learning, you're going to need a laminated page with the hustle, which is only one page. You go in front of the client, you present it, you introduce yourself, you ask a couple questions to the client. You might ask needs, N-E-A-D-S. You ask, what do they do now? What do you enjoy about what they do? What would they alter about what they do? Who's the decision maker? And you find the solution. And that's kind of you start the hustle presentation. What I can tell you is this. You learn this presentation. I have produced millions and millions of dollars with this presentation. I have recruited thousands and thousands of people with this presentation. The team has become one of the top teams in the entire industry by using these simple, small presentations. So if you master it, you can be that person that recruits thousands and thousands of people. You can be the person that sells millions of dollars every year by learning this simple presentation. So this is the middle of the presentation. When you have the laminated page, on the right side, my presentation started like this. The name of the company is People Helping People, PHP. And we believe in saving America by bringing back free enterprise and hope to American families. Then I will say something like this. I will say, in 1970, we used to have a lot of agents, over 500,000 licensed agents, 200 million people living in America. Nowadays, we have less than 149,000 licensed agents. We have over 300 million people living in America. Now, in the other side, on the other side of the presentation, I will explain the products and services. And the way that I explain the products and services are like this. Here are the products and services. Here's the products and services that we help families with. Number one, we help families with 401k rollovers, IRAs, Roth IRAs, life insurance, long-term care, annuities, and debt settlement. Mr. Klein, out of these 6, which ones are you familiar with? That's a question. Or if I want to sell a policy, I will say, out of these 6, which one do you currently own? And the person will say, I own life insurance. Excellent. What type of life insurance you have? And the person will say, I have a term. Great. Hey, how much you pay? And the person will tell me, I pay $50. What is the coverage? $200,000. And then I will ask a question. If I were to get you another policy, maybe paying the same, having more coverage, or maybe having the same coverage, paying less, would you change your policy? That's a question that I ask to somebody. If they have a 401k, they have an IRA, I said, is there any of the 6 which do you currently own? And the person will tell me, I have an IRA. Awesome. Have experienced any losses? Say yes, no. If I were to show you a place where you can put your money where you don't lose when the market goes down, and you can participate in the market when the market goes up, would you be open to know information about it? That's a trial close. So I'm not closing yet. I'm just finding information, doing a trial close. So you want to do trial closes over there. Now, then I want to say, you see all the companies that we see over here? We represent many companies that obviously you're already familiar with, like such and such, such and such, and such and such. I will say something like that. You see all these companies that we have over here? We are not an insurance company or a financial company. We represent many insurance and financial companies that obviously you're already familiar with, like MetLife, AIG, National Life Group, and many companies that we represent. I will add credibility by saying something like this, that we represent many companies that obviously you're already familiar with. Then I go with the center. And here's what I wanted to explain to you today, how to explain it, what questions to ask, and how to get your client. So here's how it goes. Today, I'm going to show you the easiest and the fastest one. I'm going to show you how life insurance works. There is a policy called term policy. And there is an example of a 34-year-old lady who wanted to buy a $500,000 policy. Mr. Klein, how much do you think that this client will pay for a $500,000 policy? First question. How much do you think that this client will pay for a $500,000 policy? And the client will say, whatever they want to say. They want to say $100, $50, $200. And I'll say, this client will pay around $30, around $40. And I use the word around because I don't know what the health of the client is. I'm just giving them an example. But this policy is called the term policy. If the client dies in the next 30 years, her family will receive $500,000. If the client doesn't die in 30 years, what do you think that happened with the money that the client was paying? That's another question. So I asked two questions. If the client dies in the next 30 years, the family will receive how much? $500,000. If the client doesn't die in 30 years, what do you think that happened with the money that the client was paying? And I want to hear the answer. I want to know what the client is going to be saying. And the client might say, I don't know. And I say, well, the insurance company keeps the money. So the insurance, the policy expires. So that's called the term policy. If the client dies in 30 years, the family is protected. The client doesn't die in 30 years, no more insurance, that's it. The policy expires. And then I'm going to explain how we get paid. I'm going to explain the compensation. So the client will pay around $30. Insurance companies pay us 1 year in advance. That equals $360. Depending which provider you use, there is a provider, there is an insurance company that pays 125% of the annual premium. That equals $450. And as agents, we have different contract levels. Our levels can go between 30% up to 152%. Let's just say that you're a 50% contract. 50% of 450, you make $225. So over there, I'm giving an example of somebody who's a field associate at a 50% contract. Now let's go with the next one. Then I say number two, wow, what's the benefit? It's very inexpensive. What's the disadvantage? The policy expires. Now let's go with the next type of policy. It's called the ROP. I don't say the definition yet of the ROP. I'm just going to say the name of the policy is called the ROP. The ROP works like this. The same lady, 30, 40-year lady, wants to buy the same $500,000 policy. But in this one, the client is not going to pay $20, $30, $40. In this one, the client is going to pay double or triple that amount. Let's just say the client pays $100. But here's the difference. If the client were to die in the next 30 years, the family will receive how much? $500,000. But if the client doesn't die in 30 years, what happened to the money that the client was paying? And I ask another question. If the client doesn't die in 30 years, what happened to the money that the client was paying? And usually the customer or the client, the potential recruit will say, I don't know. In this example, I said, the client gets all the money back. And I silence. The client gets all the money back. Mr. Client or potential recruit, do you have car insurance right now? And the client says, yes, of course. How much you pay? And the guy will tell, I pay $100. I pay $200. Let's just say I call you and I work for the car insurance policy, a car insurance company. And I call you and I say, Mr. Client, our company, our car insurance company just came up with a new policy. If you have an accident in the next 5 years, we pay for any accident. You don't have any accident, we give you all your money back. Would you buy the policy? And I ask a question to the person. Guess what they're thinking? Of course I will buy it. Well, don't worry about it because that doesn't exist. That doesn't exist in car insurance, but it does exist in what? Life insurance. And ROP stands for return of premium. So I gave the definition of the ROP after I explain what the ROP is. I don't say at the beginning ROP, return of premium. I said it afterwards. So that creates something called the wow factor. I want to create the wow factor. I want to impress the client. I want the client to be excited about. So then I'm going to explain the compensation. Well, what's the benefit of this policy? You get a refund. What's the disadvantage? The policy expires. Then I'm going to explain the compensation. In this example, the client pays $100. Insurance companies pay us 1 year in advance. 100 times 12 equals 1,200. There is an insurance company that pays us 120% of the annual premium. That equals $1,440. If you're one of the agents at a 50% contract, you make $720. One client. Then I say something like this. I say, if these were cars, this is a sedan Toyota Corolla. This is a Lexus. This is the Ferrari of the policies. It's called the permanent policy. And it's called like that because you have all these benefits. So let me explain you all the benefits that you get. Number one, the death benefit, the life insurance is permanent. So the policy doesn't expire when you turn 60, 70, 80 years old. The policy is going to stay in force until you die. Number two, the policy has something called living benefits. What is a living benefit? If the client gets diagnosed by a chronic, terminal, or critical illness, the client has access to the life insurance while the client is still alive. And number three, the policy accumulates cash value. And cash value explained like equity. You know, when you buy a house, 30 years later, what do you have in your house? You have equity. In this type of policy, 30 years later, you have equity, and you can use that cash value. You can use it income tax free. So those are the benefits that you get on the permanent policy. Obviously, you're getting all those benefits. You're going to pay a little bit more. Let's just say the client pays $250 in this policy. Now let me explain you how you get paid as an agent. We get paid 1 year in advance. 250 times 12 equals $3,000. We get paid with one of the insurance companies 105% of the annual premium. That equals $3,150. And if you were to be one of the agents at a 50% contract, you make $1,525. Direct deposit to you. Then I will ask the client, if it is a client, out of these three, which one do you like the most? I will ask that question to a client. Obviously, a client, I wouldn't explain the compensation, but I will explain the compensation to the agent. The other part is to explain training, licensing, and clients. Here's how you explain it. Training. We do classes twice a week. Let's just say if you're doing Tuesday, we do Tuesday from 7 to 9 p.m. and Saturdays from 10 to 12 in the morning. We also do field training. Field training, you hear next to me, and you see how we help a family in the real life. And the other type of training that we do, once or twice a year, we do a convention with everybody in the company, or regional. We do regional, and we do one with everybody in the company. And in those conventions, we give you a training from 3 to 6 months. We give you in 3 to 4 days. So it's an intense training that all of us, we attend once or twice a year. The other part is licensing. Licensing, just study, you pass a test. That's how you explain it. Not a big deal. I've seen recruiters where they go a long time, explain 30 minutes in licensing. You don't do that. Licensing is simple, it's easy. You study, you pass a test. And our clients, we don't do cold calling, we don't do telemarketing, we don't go knocking on doors. The way that we get our clients is through referrals and social media. And we have a class once a month. It's called the Faster School. And in that class, you're going to learn the 23 different ways that we get paid, how to get equity with the company, how to proven system, how to find clients, how to qualify for trips. And you get the training from the top people in the company. Okay. The other part is the back part, the back of the house of presentation. And that's super easy. Here's how you want to explain it. There is one way to do it. There are 4 different ways to do our business. Number one is part-time. There is a lot of people who do our business part-time. Part-time is like this. Do you remember the Ferrari? I asked the person. The person said yes. Do you remember that the client was paying around $250 a month? So 250 times 12 equals $3,000. You help 2 families a month. Make sure they use the word help. Some people say you sell a policy, or no, you help a family. That's the word they use. You help 2 families a month. 2 times 3,000 equals 6,000. And you're one of the lowest contract levels that we have in the company. Let's just say you were to be a 40% contract, 40% of 6,000, you make $2,400 a month, around $28,000 a year. Potential recruit, potential prospect. How do you feel if last month you would have made an extra $2,000, $3,000? That's a question that I ask all the time. What would you do with an extra $2,000, $3,000? I always going to ask that question. Let's go with the next one. The other one is called the personal producer. Number 2, you have 4 families a month. 4 times 3,000 equals 12,000. At this point, let's just say you're on a higher contract level. Let's just say you're a 60% contract. 60% of 12,000, you make $7,200 a month, around $86,000 a year. Now the person can have a career. Now the person can make a living. That's what I say. Number 3, we call it the marketing director. Mr. Potential Recruit or potential client. I said, in real estate, who makes more money, the agents or the broker? And they usually say the broker. In a restaurant, who makes more money, the waiter or the owner of the restaurant? Usually say the owner of the restaurant. So in our business, you can become an owner in the business. You can become a broker in our company. We call it the marketing director. A marketing director, let's just say you become a marketing director, and you have an agency, a small agency with 10 agents. And those 10 agents are helping 4 families a month, 1 family per week. 10 times 12,000 is 120,000. If you're the broker, you're the marketing director, you can pay an average of 25% of what each agent sells. 25% of 120, you're making $30,000 a month, $360,000 a year. Now you can have a business. Now you can have an office. Now you can make a good override when you have agents. You're becoming a marketing director in a company. And the last point is number 4, is you're becoming a chairman council. Chairman council is, let's just say you have 12 marketing directors, 12 brokers working with you. And those are 12 offices that you're in charge of. Those 12 marketing directors, they don't produce 120, they produce 60,000. So each marketing director is helping 20 families put away 250. So 20 times 3,000 equals 60,000. 12 times 60,000 equal 720,000. If let's just say your chairman council, your average override is 27%. 27% of 720,000, you're making $194,000 a month, $2.3 million a year. Now, would that be worth it? Would that help you? Would that be good if you're making that kind of money? You can also become a chairman council within our company. Now, out of those 4, how do you see yourself doing the business? Part-time, personal producer, marketing director, or becoming a chairman council? I always want to ask that question. That is an involvement question. I'm not asking them, do you want to do this? Do you feel like doing this? No, I say, how do you see yourself? Number 1, number 2, number 3, or number 4? And whatever they say. If they say part-time, awesome. We're looking for more part-timers. If there's a chairman council, I like the way that you think. We're looking for people who think big like that. Make sense? Now let's go with the closing. Here's how you close. Here's how you ask for the $150. It's very simple. You want to make it as simple as you can. So here's how I explain it, okay? So in our company, you're going to do different things. Here's the process that I use in order to close for somebody to ask for the $150. I use this technique called the free, the future, and the now. The free, the future, and the now. In your notes, you can write free, future, now. And the process that I'm asking is would you do this business if the business were for free? Would you do this business if you had to pay something, but not today, but in the future? Would you do the business if you had to pay something now, today? So here's how I ask. How do you see yourself doing this? By the way, you seem like a very professional person. You're bilingual. You look like somebody who always wanted to have their own business. You look like a business person. I want to usually say something that is real to the person. I usually want to give some compliments, something that qualities that I see in this person that is strong, that can be good for the business, strong for the business. So, for example, I would say, Johnny, Mary, you're bilingual, you're very professional, and you've done sales before, so I don't see any reason why you shouldn't do this. By the way, those compliments that you give, they have to be true. You cannot wing it. You cannot lie. It has to be sincere compliment. So I would say, Johnny, you look like a very professional person. You always wanted to become an entrepreneur. And I think that you and I will get along very good. We do a very good team together. I don't see any reason why you shouldn't do this. Do you? So that's my first question. I'm not asking for any commitment. I'm not asking to pay anything. I'm just asking, do you see yourself like doing something like that? That's basically what I'm asking. I don't see the reason why I shouldn't do this. Do you? And the person says, no, I really like it. Okay, great. Now let's go with number 2. In my mind, I'm going now number 2. The person I asked, if this was for free, would you do it? That's the only. I didn't ask it like that. I just asked the question that I just said. Now let's go second process, future. In order to do this business, Johnny, you're going to need your state license. And your state license, you're going to pay this amount of money. Or you're going to invest this amount of money. Whatever is in your state. So if you're in Houston, if you're in Texas, I would say something like this. In order to get your license, you're going to invest around $200. Okay? You don't have to do this right now, today, but you're going to have to do that in the future. Do you have any issue doing that in the future? That's my second question. Do you have any issue doing that in the future? And they say, no problem. If they say yes, I want to know why, what's going on. In the future, you don't have $200 to do that in the future. I'm not asking anything today. I'm asking for the future. So they say, no problem. Okay, cool. Now I'm going with the third commitment, which is what? Now. And here's how I ask now. As a company, we're very picky about who we work with, and we cannot work with everybody. We look for 4 things that the person doesn't have. We don't work with people that have felonies, misdemeanors, tax liens, and bankruptcies. And when we get registered with the company, we get registered with $150. That is a processing fee that the company uses for you to become part of our company. You get your own agent code. You get access to our back office. You get access to all our providers that we use. You get access to our application online. And after the first 30 days, we pay $14.95 that we use it for the maintenance of our agent code. We use it for us to always have access to our back office. But the $14.95 is after the first 30 days. What we do now is $150. Let me ask you a question. Do you have any problem with any of this? Do you have any problem with any of this? And I will circle felony, misdemeanor, tax liens, bankruptcies, and the 150. Do you have any issue with any of this? And they say, no. So I don't see the reason why I shouldn't get started today. Do you? No. Okay, great. Here's application. Please fill it out. Great. Here's application. Please fill this out. You can do that. You can pass in your phone. You can pass in your iPad. You can pass in your computer. You can put it in paper and then you put it in the computer. Whatever you want to do it, you do it over there. So again, do you have any issue with any of this? And you include the 150. Do you have any issue with any of this? They say no. Great. I don't see the reason why I shouldn't get started today. Do you? No. Okay, great. Here's application. Let's fill this out. You give an order at the end. You don't say, can you fill this out? No. Here's application. Please fill this out. And that's how you recruit somebody. That's simple. That easy. It's not difficult. It's not complicated. It's that easy. Make sense? So now, if you implement this, I promise you, you can help somebody. I promise you can help them achieve their goals and dreams. I promise you, you can bring them on board into your platform. I promise you can do this business. Because there is a lot of people who need this. When you're watching this video, make sure that you learn. Make sure that you start thinking, my gosh, I can really do this. I can really help other families. I can become financial independent. I can really start making the income of my dreams. I can really become that marketing director. I can really become that chairman council making $2.3 million a year. I can really live in the house of my dreams. I can really have the car of my dreams. I can really help my family that need it so much. I can really help my community. I can really help the church that I always wanted to help. I can really make a difference. But everything starts by you creating your own distribution, by you learning how to recruit people and finding out what they need, how you explain this easy, simple presentation. So with that being said, go and practice this video, go and take notes, go and practice with somebody, role play. The only way that you learn this is by role playing. Grab somebody, grab your spouse, grab a business partner and say, now I do it, now you do it. Go and practice this because if you master this, you can start recruiting thousands and thousands of people. This is Rodolfo Vargas, and I hope that you learn.